Over the last 5.5 years, we have been restoring the manor back to its former glory, and it looks completely different now than it did 5 years ago. And if you've been following, you will have seen that journey. And during that time, we have celebrated Christmas in all different ways, with different themes, different decorations, different Christmas trees. And so today I thought it would be fun to go back in time and have a look at the transformation of the manor and Christmas over the last 4.5 years. Because when I found some of the videos of my 2020 Christmas, oh my goodness, I could not believe how different it looks to the way the manor looks today. So I cannot wait to show you what that transformation has looked like. I'm also going to reveal some of the Christmas trees over the years that I have put together, which I know a lot of people enjoy coming to the manor and seeing at our Christmas markets and during the Christmas period. So we're going to do a little before and after and go down memory lane on Christmas over the last 5 years. Don't forget, if you're enjoying our videos, make sure you hit subscribe on our YouTube channel, The Lady Smith Manor Diaries, to ensure you see all our videos when we first put them out. But first, let's go back in time and see Christmas over the last 5 years. Our very first Christmas theme was a Victorian Christmas. It was in 2020. And as you can see, it was very basic. The walls and the manor, we were still working on our renovations. So you can see that they'd been painted. We didn't have any trim. We were using different furniture, but to decorate, I was really trying to cover up the holes in the wall, the unsightly pipes, the fact that we had no trim, no paint. It looked very, very basic in the dining room here. And we started putting together our booths for our Christmas market. But as you can see, we didn't even have a ceiling in part of the dining room. In our big room, which is what we called it back then, we even strung outdoor lights because we had no lights in the room. So we wanted it to feel cozy. So we used all sorts of different pictures and furniture to cover the walls. You can see we've got pipes coming down by the chimney there. And I was using anything I could to make it look as pretty as possible. In our music room, the walls were still a really dark red, and we decorated whatever we could to make it look as nice as possible. But we had no curtains, no trim, and it definitely was a very basic Christmas decorating in the space, because we really didn't have very much. We just put the wood burning stove in. And after all the work of putting together our first Christmas market, was actually cancelled 2 days before because of COVID. But we took it online. It was a huge success, and everyone bought online and picked up their items later. But it wasn't quite what we were thinking for our first Christmas market. In 2021, our next theme was the night before Christmas. So this was my second Christmas mannequin that I put together. And you can see in our music room, we had now painted the walls. It was much lighter and brighter. And I did very simple decorations on my trees. I used strings of popcorn, bows. We did paper chains, very traditional decorations for these trees that we'd brought in. Our dining room was still a work in progress. We had no trim, no curtains, but on this tree, I decided to use cookie cutters. So I got a load of cookie cutters and we put ribbon on them just to do a really, again, very simple, very traditional decoration. This was also the year that I started my mouse tree, and so I've started collecting the little mice that we now add to one of our trees in the manor. And this, along with our paper chains, was a really sweet decoration for this tree. We also added lots of toys because it was the night before Christmas. We wanted it to feel like a toy room, and on the walls, I was always trying to make everything look pretty because the walls were not pretty at all. So we added bed frames and curtains to make it feel like a bedroom for the night before Christmas. I even added teddy bears in frames just to make the walls look a little bit more interesting. In the room that is now our pub, we had some drywall on the walls, but much of it was just insulation and plastic, which didn't look too pretty. So I found ways of using mirrors and greenery and old windows to kind of disguise some of that on the wall. And it's hard to believe that this is now our pub because it looks so different back in the day. In 2022, our theme was A Christmas Carol and a Dickens Christmas. And again, I did another mannequin for the entrance hall. It was starting to feel a little bit more put together. We'd finished more projects. And this was the year that Hurricane Fiona had knocked down one of our really large trees. So we ended up putting it up outside the manor and lighting it for Christmas. Inside, the reception room and music room now had curtains in it. It had artwork on the wall. We had restored the fireplace, and the rooms were really looking very, very different. One of my trees this year, I used vintage keys and ribbons to decorate it. And in our reception room, we used ribbon and a red theme on this really large tree that looked so pretty at night when it was lit up. In the dining room, we now had curtains up, we had trim on the wall, and we had added an Ebenezer Scrooge nightgown and cap for our Dickens Christmas theme, but it really completely transformed this room. Now, the green room was not quite looking as good. We hadn't quite finished the projects in here, so we still had the walls very bare. The fireplace was being painted. We were using old windows and doors to kind of disguise the walls. But we had some really pretty trees, and we brought in some mannequins and some historic outfits to just really bring in that Dickens feel. In 2023, our theme was the Nutcracker, and that completely changed. We now had our murals on the wall, and this front entrance looks completely different to the way it did in previous years. Our main reception room and music room, again, we had a really, really large Christmas tree that we brought in, and we decorated this just like the Nutcracker with the ballerina with the pink ribbons and the ballet shoes to really theme it with the Nutcracker. And one of my favorite parts were our ballerinas that we had made out of paper. In the music room, as we were setting up for our Christmas market, our tree in here we decorated with all red stars and fun, bright ornaments that really had that red and gold theme to them. In our dining room, we had our woodland tree, and it was the first time I'd used logs at the base of a tree. And in our green room, the mannequin this year was made to look like a ballerina. We even had a community tree outside where everyone could decorate their own ornaments and add them to our tree at the Christmas market. And in 2023, I also created this really fun photo shoot set that was looking through the windows so that photographers could use the set along with our Christmas bed set and a Christmas fireplace set. All really fun ways that I themed using the Nutcracker theme. 2023 was also the first year that we added a Christmas tree up in our library, which made for a really cozy corner. And we finally made it to 2024 when this year's theme was Narnia. And again, our front entrance looked completely different, and it was the perfect setup with the lamppost and the mural behind. Our reception room looked just lovely with the different vendors that we had in there. And again, each tree was decorated a little differently. We even had our white witch in the dining room, which was one of my favorite mannequins that I've made since we started putting together themes for Christmas, along with our Narnia theme in our green room. I even had the opportunity to make a photo shoot set that was Letters to Santa, which was another nice addition to this year's decorations. So much has changed over those 5 years. Even Winston, who is now so much bigger than when you last saw him, he's growing and is growing very, very fast. He's getting quite big. We think that he's going to be quite a bit bigger than Hendrix, but he brings us joy every day, makes us smile every day, and is becoming a little terror, to be honest. He gets into all sorts of things he shouldn't get into, but we can't imagine life without him now. But the last 5 years and our Christmas, I still can't believe how different the manor looks now to the way it did back in 2020 when we did our first Christmas market. And it's been such a journey and been quite a challenge, especially for me. I always like to have everything looking nice before I show people. So when we did those first few Christmas markets and Christmas events, I found it very challenging to have rooms without walls and it not looking nice. But I think people have really enjoyed being part of that journey, and we really appreciate you being here and being part of that journey as you watch us through that transformation. And we still have lots more to come. We've got lots more plans for 2025. Although a lot of the renovation is done in the house, we still have a lot more. There's all sorts of little fine tuning and trims and bits and pieces. And then we've got big plans for more to add to the manor and the Thirsty Whippet Pub, which we can't wait to share with you over the next year. But my big question for you is, do you have a favorite? Have you had a favorite Christmas tree over the last 4.5 years? Have you had a favorite Christmas market theme that we've done? I would love to hear. So please comment below in our description and let me know what your favorite Christmas theme was, and did you have a favorite Christmas tree that you've seen here at the manor? And I also would love to know what you think our Christmas theme should be for next year. Now, I have a short list. People are already asking me what they think, what my Christmas theme is going to be for next year. I have a short list. I'm not telling you what it is, but I would love to know if you have an idea that you would like to see come alive here at the manor. But it is the wonderful thing about video and doing this every week is that we get a chance to look back and see our transformation. For Stephen and I, we often find that you kind of forget how far we've come. It's not until we do like today, when I've gone back and looked at some of those videos way back from 2020, I realize how much work we've done and what the changes are. And it's just such a joy to be able to share it with you. So we thank you so much for being part of this journey. We're almost at the end of 2024. And like I say, we have big plans for 2025, and we're going to be here every week sharing those with you, and we can't wait to do that. But for now, we've got a couple more events for this Christmas. Tonight and tomorrow, we have a couple of tickets left for Music at the Manor, which is Saturday night, this Saturday. If you have, looking for something to do on Saturday night, it's going to be an amazing evening. I'll put the link in the comments, the description below. We still have some tickets for our New Year's Eve event. And then we will be releasing all the information about our upcoming events at the pub and at the Manor nearer the end in the next few weeks, going into 2025, because we have lots of exciting stuff coming. So I'm going to finish my coffee and I'm going to get back to work, getting ready for our final events for the next couple of days. And I will see you back here for our next episode of the Ladysmith Manor Diaries.